Hello and welcome. Today we will touch on 3 topics from AskReddit. Starting with number 1. What do you want to be your last words? That's all, folks. I'd love to set up an elaborate scavenger hunt which would relate to my life's work, my published essays and books, by uttering some nonsensical code on my deathbed. As I draw my last breath, your game begins. The third of the third of the third is where you'll find your first clue. And then just die. People will forever wonder the third of what? The third sentence in the third paragraph of the third page of the third book. But all it ever amounts to is people overanalyzing all my meaningless shite, thus giving it meaning in some surreal way. Oh God, what is that? While pointing at the ceiling. There is a sum of $1 billion an hour. I'll be back for all of you. I guess I never got to tell you where the treasure is, huh? Dear supermodel wife. Don't let the children drive my yacht. Oh look, Grandpa is hallucinating about being rich again. Living is for losers. I'm out. I regret nothing. With that spelling. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Caramba. What a pretty kitty. Gets mauled by Jaguar. I had a great life, but I just wish that I hadn't spent so much time arguing with strangers on Reddit. I regret it. Dies with a slightly insane smile. 1, 2, 3. Drop a random set of coordinates then die dramatically. Number 2. What is something you enjoyed as a kid, but hate as an adult? Spinning in a circle until I'm so dizzy I fall down. Super fun as a child. Great way to feel terrible and possibly get a concussion now. Carnival rides. I used to love the teacups, tilt-a-whirl, you name it. Now I just about pass out when I get off a swing. When I was a kid I would go to my grandparents' house and they always had those red and white peppermints. I would cram a handful in my mouth and go out on the swing in the yard and spin until I fell over. One time I spun around so much I actually threw up with the mints in my mouth. Now if I eat one of those mints I will actually feel dizzy and sick to my stomach. I literally Pavloved myself into hating those mints that I used to really like. I haven't had one in years. Most of the movies I liked when I was a kid don't hold up as an adult. I've stopped revisiting them so I don't spoil the good memories. Jumping down 3-4 steps at a time. My knees won't put up with that nonsense now. Vienna sausages. My brother and I used to wrestle and fight over who would get the last can. Hadn't had them in ages and was telling my kid about them, so I thought I'd get a can for old time's sake. Could not even choke them down. They are so gross to me now. Christmas. As a kid, it was time off school, presents, and seeing my family. As an adult I'm lucky if I get both days off. I stress about finding the right gift for everyone, and I have to see my family. Thinking about the future. When I was a kid I imagined in the future, I'd be rich and do crazy science stuff like turning the sky green. I thought I'd have a cool job and sports cars and a mansion in Beverly Hills. Thanks Weezer. Now when I think about the future, I wonder what the hell to do if I lose my job, about my parents getting old, and to a lesser degree, will I have enough saved to live off in retirement? Finding bugs in my house. Running. I used to race my brother everywhere, just for fun. Now? I'm definitely not running for that bus I could easily catch. I'd rather sit around and wait 30 to 120 minutes for the next one. Going outside during the summer. F the heat, F the bugs, F the humidity, F the bugs, F the hot ass wind, F the bugs, F the direct skin burning sunlight with hot ass wind, and F the bugs. Swimming. I hate it now. Kids splashing you in the face and asking you throw them in the water and climbing on you like a jungle gym. It's way more fun to be the kid in the pool than the parent. Answering the phone. I remember running to get it. Now I practically run away when it rings. Freeze pops, the ones that are liquid syrup in a plastic tube. When I was a kid, my parents refused to get them so I could have them while at a friend's house. Fast forward to around when I was 21, me and my GF moved into her old house and I found a huge box full of them. I thought I hit the jackpot, but I tried one and it was disgusting. Number 3. George Carlin said, "Think of how stupid the average person is, and realize half of them are stupider than that." What real-life example have you seen that validates this view? I'm a physician. I doctor specifically. I will tell you that the longer I work, now 15 years, my standard for the average person continues to decline. Case in point, thanks to the awful information filtering out there, I had a patient just last week who read that vitamin D helps you resist a coronavirus infection. Well, he had also read that you can get more vitamin D by getting more sun. So he wanted to collect as much light as possible with his eyes. As a result, he stared at the sun for a solid 60 seconds and burned holes directly into his retinas, permanently reducing his vision with no chance at future improvement. A girl in one of my college classes argued that heart transplants shouldn't be allowed because that's where the feelings are and the person receiving the heart wouldn't be the same person anymore. About half the calls I take on a daily basis. People call 911 to ask whether Walmart is open. To report that they didn't get enough mayo on their burger. To complain that cleanup at a fatality wreck is taking too long. All sorts of silly, out-of-touch shite. A woman I used to work with who insisted that any animal could reproduce with any other animal. She believed that sperm from any animal was the same and that DNA was irrelevant. She believed this because she once saw some sickly, possibly deformed puppies, and decided that they must have been half dog and half rat. One of my closest friends. Really good guy, but well. I'm learning Spanish and I once told him I was reading this Don Quixote book. I complained about how difficult it was because it was written in 1605. And he said, wait. Spanish existed back then? At a work Christmas party in a Mexican restaurant, an Irish colleague was trying to argue the pronunciation of jalapenois with the Mexican waitress was jalapenos. He wasn't joking and got so upset with her taking the piss out of him that he made a scene and we almost got thrown out. People that cut holes in their masks because it's easier to breathe. Knew a kid who drank bleach to prove it wouldn't kill you. A week later he showed up at school after taking a shot. He said he proved his point when the teacher asked why he was bragging about it. Mr. Hawk just said, "But you cannot argue that without that medical treatment you'd have died, though you even said you have stomach damage and a burned esophagus yourself." This kid was bragging about that. He was not mentally disabled or otherwise. He was just that kind of idiot. I knew a girl in high school who wanted to breathe fire. She put lighter fluid in her mouth and instead of blowing it onto a flame, she lit it on fire inside her mouth and then tried to blow it out. She came to school the next day with a bandage over half her face. Myself, looking for my phone when it was in my hand all the time, then answering a call, and continuing looking for it during the call. Me, on a call with my mom, getting ready to leave the house but spending 20 minutes freaking out that I can't find my phone. My mom, asking if I'd checked my purse. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell. See you soon, love. Max.